Hey YouTube, this is Shane and you're watching the Cooking with Girth YouTube channel. Today we're going to take a whole chicken, we're going to spatchcock it, and we're going to cook it on a Kamado Joe Classic. Alright, so we are about ready to get started spatchcocking this chicken. So I'm going to take you through the process from start to finish. First thing I'd recommend, and it's something that I usually get caught up with, I forget something inevitably. Before I start working with chicken, I try to make sure that I've got everything I need so that I'm not digging through a drawer or having to wash my hands 10,000 times to get everything out of the cabinet. So grab your knife. These are some cheap KitchenAid kitchen shears. They'll be integral in what we're doing today with this. Go ahead and get your rub out and we'll set it to the side. If it's brand new, don't forget to pull the seal off the inside so you're not trying to do that in the middle of everything. I always wear gloves when I'm dealing with chicken just so that I can peel one off if I'm in a hurry and not have to, like I said, wash my hands a dozen times. So here we are. We're going to go ahead and get started. I've got a wet paper towel underneath my cutting board just to help kind of keep it from moving around too much on me. And I got a trash can right here beside me for all the junk that we're going to create. So let's get this baby opened up and see what we got. Okay. This is going to sound weird, but always give your meat a smell. Just to make sure it's not spoiled. It happens. You know, grocery stores sell spoiled meat all the time. So just give it a little smell, make sure it's not turned on you. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and get the packet of goodies out of there. Yummy. All right, we're going to just chunk that crap. All right, reach up in there, make sure you don't have any other good stuff hanging out. Looking good? Okay. So, all right, so we're going to go and take our shears and cut a little bit of this excess off, just because it's going to burn when we get it out there on the smoker, and we don't want that. All right, so what you're going to do, you can really start from either end you want, but I like to start from the rear. You're going to take your shears and you're going to find the backbone right here, or the neck, whichever one you want, and get on one side of it, and you're going to start cutting. You're going to work your way all the way from one end to the other. It'll be a little bit hard at times, but it's nothing you can't handle. All right. We're going to go all the way. There we go. Now we're going to go on the other side, and we're going to cut the backbone completely out. We're going to throw it away. Now, if you're super industrious, you can take the backbone and all of the other parts that are in the little packet in there, make some stock or whatever. I don't. I just chunk it. This one's a little bit tough, so we're going to go from up here and see if that makes it any easier. There we go. All right, so there is the backbone. We've gotten it out of there. Once we get it opened up, you're always going to find some pockets of fat like this. We can go ahead and just cut them out of there. Most of that stuff will just pull right out. Maybe a little bit of help with a knife. All right, so get that out. Any little excess organs or anything that are left over, I like to get rid of them just because they're kind of gross. So we'll get rid of that. Got a little guy there. All right. Now, this is a step that I picked up that not a lot of people do, but man, it sure is helpful. So a lot of people will stop right here and be done with the spatchcocking process. That's what it would typically look like if you were to stop right there. What we're going to do is take the bird, we're going to flip it over to where the neck end of it is facing you. And you're going to make a little incision right up here in what seems like something that you couldn't cut through, but you can. And we're going to open it up just a little bit, and you will find the breastbone in there. Once we get that exposed, we're going to take our finger on either side of it and run it down through there just like that. Okay, we're going to do that on both sides of the breastbone. All right, so let's run our finger down here. Look at that. Now what this is going to do is when we are done cooking this thing, the process of cutting it up to eat it is going to be super easy. And it's going to lay a lot flatter on the smoker. Now sometimes this one's not cooperating with me just right, so we're going to dig that out right there. All right, so let's get this on out. Well, this one is just not cooperating. It's the beauty of YouTube, guys. Most of the time it's a lot easier than that. But anyway, what you're going to end up with is this guy right here. This is the breastbone. Now, when we get ready to flip this baby over, oh, look at that. Let's get that off of there. All right. So we're going to turn this guy back over and start seasoning it. Let's get rid of any little bones that you might have broken there. No big deal, but it's easier to do before than after a lot of times. You don't want somebody to bite into something like that. All right. So we're gonna flip it. Man, we have got all kinds of little organs here. Giblets. Goodness gracious. Okay. We're going to wipe her down a little bit, get it cleaned up. Make sure we don't have a lot of excess goo. Chicken goo. All right. So once I start getting this thing cleaned up, I'll go ahead and set my utensils in the sink. Get them out of the way. Clean up our cutting board just a little bit, and this is just a dry paper towel. All right. Okay, today we're going to use a Kaneka rub here that's for pork, poultry, and wild game. Now this is some good stuff. It's made in Alabama. It's a little bit spicy. It's got a kick, but we sure do enjoy it. So I went ahead and pulled my glove off one hand. I've got a glove on my other here, so I'm going to do one clean and one dirty. That way we don't contaminate the world. So the first thing you want to do, let's get it flipped back over on its back for a second. And we're going to season the inside of it. That way we get all that breast meat and everything underneath there. I always do, you know, think ahead. Try to do the inside first, because that's going to be grill side down. Not that big of a deal what the bark looks like, or the finished product looks like on that side. Let's give it a little pat there, because some of that's moving around. We'll just kind of get that worked in just a hair. All right, let's flip it over. All right, now we're gonna get this all over. Now what I like to do, depending on what kind of rub I'm using, you know, do it from up high. You don't want to be 2 inches from the meat putting your rub down on there. It's not going to go on evenly. This will give us a nice distribution, and we're going to get this put down on there on all the surfaces, and then we're going to pat it down. We're going to see if there's any other spots that need a little bit of rub. And then we're going to slide it in the fridge and let it chill out for a few more minutes while we get the grill fired up and ready to go. Give me just a sec here. All right, let's get this wing going. Get underneath all these legs here. Whoop, got a little heavy there. With this stuff, a little bit goes a long way. This rub's got a lot of kick to it, so just be careful if you got little ones eating it or something. It's not like ghost pepper hot, but it's definitely got some power. All right, we're gonna let that go in the fridge for probably half an hour or so while we get the grill ready to rock, and we'll check on it here in a few. What's the matter? All right, so here's the Kamado Joe Classic. This is the 18-inch. I've got the Kamado Joe charcoal basket in there. I really like it. It helps it breathe. It makes cleaning the charcoal, the ash out a lot easier. Everything just falls through to the bottom. So it's a nice accessory to have. This guy here, or down here. So we're going to do this. I'm going to use the deflector plates in there. I'll show you how I'm going to assemble it once we get this started up. So I've got a pretty much a full load of B&B charcoal, and I've got some mesquite down in here, kind of nestled in. You want to try to hide your wood underneath the charcoal, that way it smolders and it doesn't just catch up and drive your temps crazy. To start it, I use these little tumbleweeds. I like those. I like the Kamado Joe Big Green Egg. They've all got their own little cube starters, and I've had great luck with them also. You just want it to, whatever you use to start it, you want it to fully disintegrate and be gone when it's all said and done, instead of leaving a bunch of residue and stuff left over. So if I'm doing a low and slow cook like this, relatively low, so we're going to cook this at 325 today. I'll put one right in the middle, and you saw me kind of nestle it down in the coals a little bit, or in the charcoal. Now if I'm doing steaks or something, pizza on here or something like that, just really high heat, I'll put 3 of them around it, and it gets the charcoal fired up a lot quicker and more of it. Whereas this is going to start and get a bed of coals right in the center that will spread slowly as the cook goes on. And the nice thing about the Kamado Joe, the reason I fill it up completely is because it seals up so well. When I'm done with the cook, I just shut the lid, close all the vents down. It puts the fire out, and then saves the coal for the next time I cook. So it, you open it up and you've got, half or more of a basket of charcoal left. So I'll fill it up each time and just go with it like that. So we're going to go ahead and light this, and we're going to, there we go, so that's catching up. We're going to open this bottom vent down here completely and leave the lid open. And we'll give it about, 15 minutes or so. We're going to come back and see if that thing is burned out completely. Once it has, we'll notice that the charcoal that was around it is caught up. Okay, so we've given this a few minutes to burn its way out. We've got a nice little coal bed starting down in there right in the center, which is what we want. What I'm going to do is close this down. I've still got the bottom vent wide open. I'm going to open the top vent, the daisy wheel and everything completely up. I can already feel heat radiating up out of there. What I typically like to do, I've seen a lot of videos where guys will put the divide and conquer system together with their heat deflectors and their grill grates and everything. They'll put it all together on the side. They'll wait till their Kamado gets up to temp, then they put all of that in there at once. What that does is it creates a great big heat soak. If this stuff is cool, it's going to drop your temp. So you don't want to put all of that material in there with your meat that you're about to cook and then have to start readjusting the temperature and everything. So what I'm going to do is when this gets up to about 200 degrees, I'm going to go ahead and assemble everything and then let it get up to that 300, around that 300 degree mark, and then we'll start fine tuning the vents, and I'll show you how to do that to get the temperature that we want. So we're at the 200 degree mark right now. So what we're going to go ahead and do is open her back up. You can see we've got a pretty good fire going, starting to catch on some of our wood in here for smoke. We're going to go ahead and get the heat deflectors in there. We're going to put them on the bottom position. Get them down in there without roasting the old fingers. Oop. Sorry about that. All right, let's see. We're going to get both of them in place. There's the other one. I'll grab my... I love the ash tool that these come with. They really come in handy for this kind of stuff. You can move things around with them and not get torched. Okay, so heat deflectors are going in the bottom position here on the divide and conquer. That's Kamado Joe's proprietary name for this system, where you can set the grill grates in any configuration, up high, down low. But for today, we're going to do the heat deflectors down low, and then we're going to put the grill grates in their highest position for, it's going to be set up like a low and slow, but it is at 325, so it's not exactly smoking. It's more of a roasting kind of setup. Now we're going to let that go, and I'm going to leave this open up here until we get to, like I said, about 300 degrees. Okay, so we're at about the 275 mark right now. The temperature climbs pretty fast when you've got the vents open all the way up. So I'm going to go ahead and close this baby down up here. We're going to leave those vents on the daisy wheel about half open. Down here, I'm going to close this and leave about a 2-finger gap in it. If I was doing really low and slow at about 225, I might leave 1 finger. But we're going to give it a try. It's about 1 inch right there. And that's going to slow down that heat climb. It's going to slow it down significantly right off the bat. So we're going to keep an eye on it and adjust the vents as necessary. The bottom vent, I find myself not messing with a whole lot. I do my fine adjustments up here at the top. If it gets to 300 and just stays there, I might crack this open just a hair more. If it goes a little bit above 325, then I'll close it down a little bit more. The beauty of the Kamados is once you get the temperature set on them, they are stable. They're, as long as you don't have a lot of really high wind or something crazy like that going on, the temp just stays where you put it. So we're going to let this guy climb just a little bit higher and watch those vents, and then we're going to get some chicken on. Okay, so we are at about 320 degrees right now. That's where we want to be. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get the chicken on there. I always bring my rub out with me because you always knock off a little bit of rub in places while you're getting it set up on here. I like to tuck these wings back and just get them out of the way. Sorry. All right, and then you're going to want to get everything arranged nicely. Separate your breast meat right there. Any pooling that you got, just get it out of the way. That's set up pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle on a little bit more seasoning in a couple of spots. Alright, so we're going for 160 degrees internal in the breast, and that'll put us about right in the dark meat. You're going to be at about 175 degrees there. 165 is where your breast is going to end up, but it'll achieve that during the rest. So let's get this thing closed up, and I'm going to set my vent back where I had it, and make sure that that's all good. Temp will come back up to about 325, and if it needs a little adjustment, we'll make that when the time comes. But aside from that, we should be taking it off here in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Alright, so we have hit the temp, and doesn't it look good? Skin's pulled back a little bit. That's what happens when you spatchcock it. No big deal. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing off of there, and I'll upload some pictures here in a few of what it looks like when we cut it up. So in the interest of full disclosure, this is some of the driest chicken that I've cooked in a long time. It looked pretty good, but when I checked the temp, it was about 15 degrees too hot in the breast and in the dark meat. It got me wondering if my temp gauge on my Kamado was reading correctly. And you'll see in one of my other videos I shot, it was actually reading about 20 degrees off. And I probably just wasn't paying good attention. Most of the time I'll use a digital probe in the meat, and I just got complacent, and it got too hot. So it happens to everybody. Just don't get discouraged, and keep on moving. So it is what it is, guys, but I appreciate you watching my video, and keep an eye out for more content to arrive, and like and subscribe. Thanks a lot.